Okay. I'm told that the first reader he just showed up. You're here? All right. Ethan's here. It's good. I'm glad that you came late because it'll give some context to what I'm about to say about you. Ethan Boatright. I had the pleasure. Oh wait. Oh, before I begin. Oh yeah, the non-plan. So I'm sort of following in a long line of neon lit hosts that have been all really wonderful. And usually they come in with this really clever idea of how they're going to introduce everybody, and it sort of goes in this sort of straight line. And I had a lot of ideas, and then I couldn't decide on one, so I just picked all of them. So I'm just going to do all my ideas. So each person's going to have a different thing, so it's not going to make any sense. So all the absurd bullshit that comes out of my mouth, just smile and just occasionally throw in a giggle, and then we'll be good. Super preach. Okay, Ethan. I had the pleasure of sitting down with Ethan Boatright before the show to ask him a couple of questions about his work and his experience here in Las Vegas. I met him in his dressing room at the Vineyard Vines photo shoot he had just finished up. We began cordially. "Hello," I said. "Kanye 2020, he replied. When I asked whether he'd be reading a poem about his new fiancée, Molly, tonight, Ethan said, "I'm an artiste, bro." I said, "But Ethan, you heard me." "I feel like I'm missing something." "We're done here," he said. "Just a couple more questions?" "This universe is inexplicably precious, young man," he replied. When I opened my mouth to say something back, he pressed his finger to my lips. He shook his head and whispered, "Hush," and glided out the door. Without further ado, Ethan Boatright.
All right, everybody who saw the thing on Neon Lit, the Facebook thing, I'm sorry I didn't bring my dog. He would have made this a whole lot more interesting. I'm sorry. I'm going to read a few poems. I hope they hit. First one, Plastic Apples Made to Look Real. We dream out loud of your little pink house with the pool and palm tree yard, coastal Florida, and the Adirondack wedding and reception on the river beach of the camp your grandfather built with blistered hands bare raw and satisfying throb. The immigrant knowledge passed from father to son through dry boards. Out our windows birds fly in erotic angles, tracing fine lines. Debt and desire in our world is our world. Our shaky-handed inheritance from Atlas. Monkey and bile are both green. Money and bile are both green. Black, deep, endless, incomprehensibly tangible. A stranglehold. A clouded midnight sky would be more fitting. Nothing's easy. Grapes are $2.99 a pound. Gas still over $2 a gallon. And you reach for an apple from the table bowl, realizing it's plastic only after a big bitter bite. There has to be a light with a chilled bottle of champagne waiting on a lifeguard chair, looking out over Scarborough Beach. I can still feel the rain in your ringed hand in mine as we ran through the wet sand to the car. I tell you I've seen God as a bird crashes into the glaring glass, sending the dog running circles. And I'm sorry, I'm a little amped up just because I got here a little late. I was working, I sell dogs at Petland, and dogs are pretty cool. The next poem I'm going to read, it's called A Blinding Flash at the Moment of Capture. Beginning at its border where the memory ends, none of the pictures bound in pages, stacked on top of bound pages, stored away in a bedroom dresser, connect. The child flexing poolside, smiling mother disembodied behind her lens. Is this her story or his being told? The new father sleeping, baby on his chest, ink faded, blurred and marred by time and wet New England air. He still had hair, and his child was bald. A picture of an aunt's wedding, but her hair isn't straight, never has been, and the pews were never that long. It all leaves me confused. These aren't the people I know. No map, no grid, no pattern. Between the baby, the smiles, the father who could be me. Only blank chasms, the white space of albums, limbo in the inches that separate them. I still get really anxious when I do this. All right, the next poem I'm going to read, I don't know how to kind of interconnect them, so I just read. But the next poem is going to be Fire Under Ash. Too cold to get up, though at the edges of the blinds, the sky shows blue as flames that break on a red sea in which black coals float. James Schuyler. We wake up now to the birds somewhere around 5:30. Reach for our rucksack carefully as every movement sends shiver of condensation raining from the roof of our secondhand tent. I rub the room from my eyes, and staring out over the fire freshly reignited from last night's ash, its hypnotizing flight. The way it dances, softly kisses itself, burning off the morning darkness, illuminating your face deep in thought, placing small tin cup to lips, a small sip of your instant coffee. Caffeine, then words, in that order. The flames jump and maneuver first into, then around each other, swirling in fluid unison to the breeze, an effortless tread over the pure white snow ash. Left behind by yesterday's fires, a pious genuflect to the bones of its brothers to which it is inseparably tied, dancing solely for them, hopping and rolling across sandstone-colored logs of dead juniper leaves and slate green and gray kindling of fresh sagebrush, caressing all the while consuming, swimming up in rhythmic anti-rhythms, only the illusion of being tamed. I could write a book on your grace. I believe that fire has a soul, a driving life force and a heart on this planet and beyond, a small god and the most lively of nature's brethren, day and night, wind, rain, and hail, and all of the planet life which by necessity of nature she graciously consumes. The smoke, the ash, the kindling, and the daily debris, trash, glass, and plastic bags of toilet paper and excrement melted down until they are once again inseparable from the ground from which they were pulled. It's harmony. When I was a kid, being up with the birds, when the birds started chirping, meant I had made more than one questionable, booze-fueled decision the night before. Their first song, the most depressing, shame-inspiring mantra. Every tweet called on an indictment, an oil-slick prophecy. The next poem I'm going to read is entitled, As You Are, The Why Is You. Leaves fall from green, olive trees in red and yellow and finally cracked brown, when they blow, cluttering my doorway. And I remember San Demetrio, where once juicy figs fall withered and dry, a heart of rusted dust plumes out. Not spelling anything, while on my doorstep the tiny shards turn welcome to come simply, and its cousin, Come Sai. And the last poem I'm going to read tonight, it's kind of about holidays. Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas coming up, missing family. Never cold. When all you want is a little warmth, a dog sleeping sound, breathing loud at your feet, toys sprawled around. A squeaky blue oblong ball that once squeezed sends the old boy crashing chaotically from wall to wall of the cozy country room. And the sweet giggle of children giving chase, crazed with joy, light feet in the heat of holiday. A break, An orange feeling, light, fluffy blankets, and fresh coffee brewing in countless single cups. When you hear the cardinals chirping, your heart stops, then races, wondering when the ball will drop. Reality ready to invade this picturesque Christmas song. Nat never sang about the end, when the bells stopped ringing. Only the immersion of the middle and maybe the anticipation of the beginning. When the chestnuts are too dry to eat, the coffee cold, and the smells and sounds fade back to normalcy, the ball is over. The gown at the cleaners being bagged to be forgotten till next year's shindigs. Please be there holding my hand, bleeding strong through the ash-brown snow. A promise of never cold. Thank you.